webinar focused on customer.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon. I'm Meredith Williams with NCTR, joined with Robin Gonzalez of NCTR. We've experienced a technical glitch or two here as we get started today. I hope that you can all hear us. If not, if you'd be kind enough to let us know.
Meredith, I can confirm we are all on board and good to go.
Wonderful. Okay, I'll start all over. I'm Meredith Williams here with Robin Gonzalez. I'd like to welcome you to our first webinar focused on customer service operations. Those involved in customer services are incredibly busy people at all of our systems. They are required to have a command of incredibly complex systems, and most importantly, they're the primary contact with members. They are definitely where the rubber meets the road. The purpose of today's webinar is to serve as the beginnings of a network of public plan customer service staff. To that extent, we're recording this webinar, and within a few days we hope to post it on the NCTR website so that others in your operation will have an opportunity to listen to this and review the slides at their leisure. We're going to have 3 presentations today. Each presentation is going to take 10 or 15 minutes, followed by another 10 or 15 minutes of your questions. With respect to questions, you can ask your question at any time during the webinar. It will be shared with the other participants at the conclusion of the presentations. I'd be negligent if I didn't introduce our 4 panelists today. Peggy Platt with CalSTRS, who has some pretty exciting information to share with us in addition to her call center and customer service comments. Lisa Steele with PERSI of Idaho. Ed Renzi and Ted Todoroff with NYSTRS in New York. With that, I'm going to turn it over to the experts and ask Peggy to get us started.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's such a privilege to be able to have this opportunity to converse with you and share with you some of the CalSTRS story. So you're going to hear from the 3 systems today, and we're all talking about this issue of member satisfaction and member engagement. And I'm going to start by talking about employee engagement, because that really is a critical aspect of serving our members well. So you can see from the slide in front of you that we are a large system. We have the distinction of being the largest teachers' retirement system in the U.S. And everything on that slide is an approximate number, including the funding ratio of 67%, but we have good news in that regard. Just this week, in fact, on Sunday, our legislature passed a full funding bill for us, and we're expecting the governor to sign it in the next few days. That will put us on a path for full funding. So eventually, we'll see that funding ratio go up. One of the challenges that we've had as an organization is an inability to adjust contribution rates, an opportunity that many of you have as you manage your day-to-day business. So next slide, please, Robin, and let's go right into this whole concept of employee engagement. What is it really? Well, it is a state of mind, and it involves emotional and intellectual properties that we all bring to the workplace. And the result of that is that employees can invest themselves in their work in a richer and more concentrated manner. So think of concentric circles, with the small one being satisfaction. That's what we've typically measured across organizations. And that measures a lot about how employees are feeling today. But there's an aspect of, what have you done for me lately, and how is that likely to change in the future associated with satisfaction? The next circle that surrounds that would be loyalty, which is a concept that says I'm loyal to my organization, I'm committed to it, I have the opportunity to do good work there. But the bigger circle around both of those is this concept of engagement. And it really does look at an individual's overall contribution to the organization's success, and it's rooted and grounded in the personal satisfaction that they get in his or her role. So next slide, please. We take a look at, well, okay, so you have engaged employees. What does that mean, and why is that important to you? Well, certainly engaged employees, from our perspective, and what the research and literature studies that we've done have shown, is that engaged employees serve members better, which increases member satisfaction and increases member engagement. And that's really the reason that we're trying to focus in on not just satisfaction with our employees, but with their engagement. It's a way for us to judge, do we have the right labor force employed here at CalSTRS to really deliver the products and services that are important to our membership. Engagement really goes beyond that concept of satisfaction, and it puts forward an effort to believe in the organization in a way that says, even if you didn't satisfy me today, overall, I'm committed. I'm more likely to put forth discretionary effort. I'm going to do more. It's very likely I'm going to feel and be more productive, which means I'm less likely to leave the organization, and we all know that turnover is a huge cost for us as a system because what we do is complex. And whether you're at CalSTRS or Idaho or anywhere else in the country, the retirement system that you administer is a complex entity, and it's full of nuance. And it takes a while to train staff to be conversant in the nuance associated with their business areas. We also are seeing that employees who are engaged are more likely to actively promote the business or be a brand ambassador for CalSTRS, really speak highly of the organization outside of the building that they work in. And we know that engaged employees will go above and beyond what's required and just move on to that opportunity to be inspired and therefore inspire other people. So next slide. The next slide is a picture of all of the elements that contribute to employee engagement. And remember, our goal for employee engagement is to result in member engagement for us as an organization. And it all starts at the top with our culture. We have a very real, consistent approach to our mission, our core values, and creating a sustainable organization. So we do create that culture that really does help our staff see where they fit, understand their connection, and ground all of our activities in that. That really is a strong foundation for us. Moving around the circle clockwise, we know that staff need and want feedback, and they want recognition for the good work that they've done. We do have an award-winning recognition program. It's called our Virtuosity Program that provides multi-level and multi-channel opportunities for peer-to-peer recognition, supervisor recognition, as well as organizational recognition. And we do quarterly recognition events in our CalSTRS day-to-day operations. We do this on a quarterly basis where we bring people in and provide them with an opportunity to be recognized in front of their peers. Those are broadcast to our whole organization, so everyone has the chance to see that and celebrate it. We also then, moving down, want employees who are doing meaningful work, and they're doing work with clarity and purpose about how that ties in to the core mission of CalSTRS. To help people with that development about their skill on their job, we do have a year-long onboarding program that helps them understand where they fit, how they work in the culture, how they use the tools, and what we expect of them with very clear and specific feedback. Most of the work we do is team-centered. We have a lot of effort on team building expressing that core value of teamwork in the organization so that people have a strong identity, not just of the individual job they do, but the work group that they accomplish that work within. Every satisfaction survey and every other survey that we have done with our employees has told us that we need to communicate more. And even though leadership teams often feel like all we do is communicate, staff are always saying, we want more. We need more. We need it in a different way. We want to have one-on-one meetings with you. We want to have group meetings with you. We want to see emails. We want to have an opportunity to look at things when it's convenient for us. And we want an opportunity to have an anonymous voice. And the what do you think that you see in the center of that bubble is an anonymous process where our members, or our employees, actually have an opportunity to send a query to our CEO, and that generates a response back. But it's in a way that protects someone who might feel a little afraid or intimidated to bring that issue forward. All of that communication centers, though, on what people tell us they want from their manager and supervisor. And we heard from data that we've collected in our surveys that we needed to do more in the past in investing in our leadership teams. So we have created manager and supervisor forums, academies. We do a lot of work with that key leadership team, and it's the whole leadership team. Every member of that team plays an important role. And in fact, this morning here at CalSTRS, we had a meeting of our leadership team. We do this on a quarterly basis, and it's an opportunity to catch up on what's going on inside the organization and for Jack to have a direct voice, Jack Enos, our CEO, to have a direct voice to that leadership team that we hope carries back to all of the employees in their team meetings. All of this is supported by a very aggressive and comprehensive training program so that staff really get a good grounding of what the tools are that are available to them, what the expectations are, and feedback on their performance. And that's done in a classroom setting, it's done on an informal basis, and of course it's done on the job. All of that investment in staff helps lead to an engaged workforce. And that engaged workforce, next slide please, results in our opportunity. Robin, can you advance? Thank you. Results in our opportunity to really have employees say, I can believe, I can be inspired, and I can do extra. And if they believe, as a brand ambassador for us, if they believe, they're more likely to stay because they really do believe in the products and services that we're providing to our membership. And they're getting something out of that transaction. They believe that the organization also values them. It means they're more likely to strive and be inspired to do more. They're excited, they're enthused, they're bringing that enthusiasm and caring to the work they do with our members. And finally, they're willing to say things. They're willing to recommend CalSTRS to their friends. It's a great place to work. Come and join us in this labor pool. Or speak positively about our organization and the things that we do when they're outside of their immediate work environment. All of those things really help us create that culture of employee engagement, which leads directly to member engagement. Next slide, please. So what does that look like? Well, here's a model that we got from Blessing White that says engaged employees at CalSTRS overall feel valued and report that their job is a good fit. And managers play a really significant role in fostering that engaged employee concept. They work to create a sense of belonging. They provide that very specific and regular performance feedback, and that isn't a once-a-year activity, although we do have a rigorous annual performance appraisal process. It really is that much more regular and time-appropriate feedback on performance. We have that rich culture of recognition for accomplishments and achievements. And here's something that's really important. We really encourage people to use their talents and inspire them to be creative and go beyond just the narrow confines of a particular job that we ask them to do on an individual basis. They're treated like a human being, that they're not all judged the same way. They're not all treated the same way because they have unique and independent interests and needs. And they're legitimately asked for their input and involvement in the process so that they can see that their ideas are being appropriately considered and implemented. And if they're not, that they're understanding the basis for why we do the things that are done. And something that's important to employees at all levels in organizations, it allows us to really feel like delegation is effective and staff aren't being micromanaged. So that's an overview of what engaged employees look like at CalSTRS and what we're trying to do. Next, Lisa Steele from PERSI is going to be talking to you about what's going on in a much smaller system. So Lisa.
Thank you, Peggy, and good afternoon from Boise, Idaho. I am Lisa Steele, and I serve as the Deputy Director of the Public Employee Retirement System of Idaho, otherwise known as PERSI. First, I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time this afternoon to learn a little bit more about customer service by participating in this first ever webinar. It's very exciting. I'd also like to thank NCTR for including Idaho in the webinar today, along with the two much larger systems, New York and California. When I was approached about participating today, I was told that NCTR was wanting to include a smaller size system in the group to give everyone a perspective on customer service from a smaller system as well. We greatly appreciate this opportunity and to tell you a little bit more about what we think Idaho does to stand out in the way we approach customer service. So first, a little bit about Idaho. Unlike the other two systems presenting today, we have more than teachers. Teachers are our largest single group of employers, however. They make up nearly 30% of our membership. PERSI also includes a wide variety of employers, including fire, police, city, state, and local government workers, elected and appointed officials, cemetery districts, sewer districts, and many more. As you can see from the slide, we have approximately 136,000 members, 764 employers. The asset size of our fund stands today at $14.5 billion. We have 65 employees, 60 of which are here in Boise. 3 are in an office we have in Pocatello, which is in eastern Idaho, and 2 in our northern Idaho office in beautiful Coeur d'Alene. We are also very proud of our funded status, which as of last night's close stands at 92.9%. Next slide, please, Robin. So what makes Idaho different? If I had to point to one thing, it would be personalized customer service. Since we are smaller, we strive to maintain that personal contact with our members and employers as much as possible. While we are implementing and using technology to help us be efficient and meet the demands of an ever-increasingly tech-savvy membership, we strive not to become impersonal, but rather maintain as much as possible that personalized customer service we are known for. We are using and developing a lot of online tools to assist our members who prefer working with PERSI that way, but our goal is to not replace the personalized contact we have with technology, but rather to enhance it. We have an extensive secure member portal where our members can do many things for themselves. We are phasing in an electronic newsletter for our members, which will potentially save over $100,000 a year in mailing and printing costs. We are active on Facebook, and we even have a Twitter account, even though we aren't actively tweeting yet. We have a robust, secure employer portal where employers can submit their payroll and member information. In fact, we are in the middle of a 3-year project converting to a new pension administration system that will serve to greatly enhance the ease with which our members and employers can communicate and work with us. So we are embracing technology and its benefits, but at the same time, our board and our director have tasked us with making sure that people don't take the opportunity that technology can sometimes give you, which is to easily turn it off and tune us out. They want us to focus on maintaining that personal connection with our members and employers, staying in front of them, and making sure that they don't tune us out. We feel that is all the more important with our younger members who may not fully appreciate the values of their defined benefit plan, and we want to stay in front of them, educating them not only about their DB plan, but also on the importance of saving early and planning for retirement. We're developing lots of different tools, some of which I will talk about today on how we're reaching these members. So how do we maintain that personalized level of customer service in this day of high technology? That's what I hope to share with you today. PERSI has a long-standing reputation for providing exceptional customer service to our members and employers. It's at the core of everything we do, and it permeates throughout our agency. For example, when a member calls PERSI, they reach our call center, which we actually call our PERSI Answer Center, because we try to answer as many of our members' questions when they first call us, rather than having them be transferred around to try and find a specialist. When members call us, they get connected directly to an Answer Center representative, not a recording. Our members praise us because they don't have to navigate through extensive menus of prompts to get to us. One thing that enables us to do this is that PERSI has built an extensive knowledge base which is accessible by all of our Answer Center staff. It's called our online guide and contains information on PERSI rules and statutes, giving lots of examples and historic information. Having access to this wealth of knowledge at their fingertips helps our Answer Center staff answer a very diverse array of inquiries and also reduces the need to transfer calls to a specialist. Next slide, please, Robin. So we take our focus on customer service not only to our members, but to our employers as well. As I said earlier, PERSI has 764 employers, and those employers are scattered throughout the state of Idaho. Through a coordinated effort between our offices in eastern and northern Idaho and our Boise staff, PERSI makes the effort to go out and visit each employer on a regular basis. In addition to regular visits, we make it a priority to get out and visit any employer that has a new payroll clerk to help them understand PERSI rules and reporting. We have also developed some online tools to help supplement this effort so they have answers at their fingertips for some of the most common questions. In addition to this ongoing outreach effort, when there is a significant issue facing employers, such as right now with GASB 67 and 68, we want to get out to personally meet with employers to talk about its impact and answer questions. Over the past few months, our executive director has been traveling throughout the state of Idaho, giving presentations to any interested employer about GASB 68 and its potential impact on them. As of this week, he has met with nearly 300 of our 764 employers. We have also put some tools, such as a video explaining GASB 67 and 68, several helpful links, and fast facts on our PERSI website. If you're interested, I'd encourage you to check them out. Our website is persi.idaho.gov. Another thing that we do is in our Employer Service Center, we have assigned each employer to a specific representative. So when the employer payroll staff call us, they have a familiar face and person to talk to. Next slide, please, Robin. So retirement specialists encourage face-to-face meetings. Members can call our Answer Center and schedule an appointment to meet with a retirement specialist at any time. For those members wanting to look at lots of different retirement options, we provide unlimited estimates upon request and also have a lot of online tools available through a secure member portal. Another area where we strive to provide good service is having a quick turnaround time when it comes to processing a retirement. If a member submits their paperwork to us by the 15th of the month, we are normally able to get them on payroll by the 1st of the following month. This is true except for September retirements, which is our heaviest month due to teacher retirements. For that month in particular, we encourage our members to get us their paperwork by July 15th. Next slide, please, Robin. So in education, PERSI is also very proactive in our training efforts. We have 2 full-time trainers who travel throughout the state, providing education to our members and employers. We have a very popular beach series of training, helping people as they prepare for retirement. We have cruising to the beach, planning for the beach, and retirement to beach. Some people think it's kind of funny that we have a beach theme in these training series because we don't really have any beaches in Idaho. But in reality, I think that started from one of the trainers who helped develop the series, who was rather fond of wearing Hawaiian shirts. So he saw this as a great opportunity to be able to wear those every time he conducted these training sessions. So in reality, these are very successful series, and our members really like them. They can go right online and sign up for them, and they're usually packed full. We also have been focusing our efforts on younger, newer members, trying to educate them about the value and importance of their PERSI benefit and starting retirement planning early. You can look at more detailed descriptions of these workshops, as well as some which we have videos of, on our website under the Training tab. We also make every effort to accommodate employer requests for in-person training, and we publicize our trainers' travel schedules, encouraging employers to contact us when we're in the area to do employer-specific training. We have a new tool being developed which will allow us to send an email blast out to employers in a particular area, telling them about an upcoming training and encouraging them to register. This was actually something I heard about at a recent NCTR meeting with other deputy directors. I thought it was a great idea and brought it back to our IT staff in Idaho, and they made it happen. Another thing which we're now working on is a series of 2-minute tutorial videos, educating our members about various PERSI rules in a fun, easy way. This was also an idea I got from an NCTR meeting in Albany from our co-presenters, NYSTRS. Right now, PERSI has about 80 brochures available on just about every topic imaginable. Our goal is to turn each of these into a 2-minute tutorial so our members have yet another way to get the information they need in a fun, easily accessible way. So thanks again for inviting Idaho to participate in this webinar today. Next, I would like to introduce Ted Todoroff, Division Manager of Member Relations for NYSTRS. Ted?
Thank you very much, Lisa. It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon. Again, I want to thank our colleagues from PERSI and from CalSTRS, and also our great host today, NCTR. And I'm particularly interested in that beach series. This time of year, my thoughts may drift once in a while to the thought of hitting the ocean. So it sounds like a great concept and a great way to market your educational campaigns. Personalized service and employee engagement are important to the quality of our customers' experience. Right now, we'd like to talk a little bit about how we at NYSTRS communicate and gather feedback from our customer base. As you see on your screen, you see a picture of our headquarters located in Albany, New York. We have more than 273,000 active members, nearly 153,000 retirees and beneficiaries. Our net assets are $104.3 billion. And NYSTRS is the second largest retirement system in the state, and one of the 10 largest public funds in the nation based on portfolio size and total membership. We have over 800 participating employers. NYSTRS administers a defined benefit plan that provides retirement, disability, and death benefits to eligible New York State public school teachers and administrators. And we cover everybody in the state with the exception of the city of New York. They have their own system. So now it's my pleasure to turn this over to my colleague here at NYSTRS, Mr. Ed Resney, who is the Manager of Information and Communication Services, and he'll be talking a little bit about our multiple communication channels. Ed?
Thank you, Ted, and let me join my colleagues in thanking NCTR for hosting us and all those who attended today. Our first slide, Rob, thank you, is about multiple communication channels. Wanted to talk today about the various different ways that we as organizations communicate with our members. And some are on incoming basis, some are outgoing basis. Some are more traditional channels like phone calls and mail and consultations that we would have face-to-face with members. Some are newer technologies like web chat that some of you may have deployed already, some of you may be considering for the future. On the outgoing side, more public relations type information like newsletters, brochures, also member information like account statements that we send out as organizations to our members. And again, those are more traditional channels, but there are also plenty of newer technologies to investigate. Email blasts, which Lisa referred to before, and we've had great success here at NYSTRS in terms of communicating information to our members. Video interactions, Facebook, Twitter, other social media tools, which are both outgoing and incoming channels, because we can communicate to them, but they can certainly communicate as well to us and everybody else out there in social media land. And mobile, some of you may be considering mobile smartphone apps. So there's really a range of traditional channels to newer technologies we could take advantage of. They all present us with opportunities to provide information about our system and its benefits, and to provide good customer service to our stakeholders. but they also present us with challenges. I was at a call center week, one of the biggest customer care conferences in the country last week, and I can tell you organizations all over are struggling with how best to implement, staff, and manage newer channels like the ones I mentioned. Certainly documenting all those interactions and having that documentation available no matter which channel a customer uses is one of the big challenges that was discussed. There are other ones I wanted to focus in today. Needing a consistent message across all communication channels. That's from agent to agent and from department to department. I'm not sure about your organization. In ours, and I think in probably a lot of them, communications, like the ones I discussed earlier, are handled by multiple departments. As an example, if we're talking about the benefits and rules that guide membership procedures, processing timeframes, all of those that appear in a publication or on a website, they really need to match what a representative would say on the phone. And really not just one representative, all of the representatives need to be saying the same thing throughout any channel that you communicate on, regardless of which department you're communicating from. So that's a big challenge. The other thing is to balance the promotion of new channels with the understanding that some prefer using traditional communication methods. In our most recent member newsletter, we ran an article explaining that no matter how you want to reach out to us, that's just fine. We're there for you however you prefer. So one of the channels that we actually have been seeing great success on is our NYSTRS tool, which is on our website. Robin, if you could turn the slide. Great. Here are some of the self-service features that we have available on our NYSTRS portion of our website. You can run pension estimates. One of the recent techniques that we added there was to run them with or without prior service purchase. In our organization, members can get credit for prior New York State public employment, and this way they can see how much benefit they would get from buying back credit for that service. We have a variety of on-loan applications that members can do, including applying for loans, which is a big favorite for those of us at our system. People can run estimates, actually apply online. One of the most recent additions we made to that tool was members can elect direct deposit to a savings account or a checking account for their loan. And this way, you know, they love getting the money. They love getting it even faster. So that was a big win for us. We have a green feature on our NYSTRS site where members can elect to receive their member profiles, their annual statements, and their newsletters just through electronically. We'll send them out an email letting them know that it's available in NYSTRS, and this way we won't send printed copies. And as Lisa alluded to in her presentation, that can save a lot of money, and it's also good for the environment. Members can schedule consultations and what we call PREP seminars. PREP stands for Pension and Retirement Education Program, and we used to call this retirement seminars. We repackaged this a few years ago to try to pull younger people to come to the seminars. We made it a modular approach where younger to mid-career members could just attend in the morning, get everything they would need to know. Those closer to retirement can stay the whole day, and we're starting to make inroads there, which is great. Through NYSTRS, you can correspond by secured messaging. Due to the cyber risk involved, we try to avoid using email because we don't view it as completely safe and confidential. So we open this tool on NYSTRS where we can communicate in writing to members about anything they have in mind. They can track the status of their retirement processing. If one of the many districts that they might have worked for haven't provided us the information that we need to close out their case yet, they can see that online and then know that they have to contact that district and say, hey, how come you haven't sent it to NYSTRS yet? And retirees can also see their benefit payment breakdown. Robin? We've experienced great growth in NYSTRS usage right along about the time that we're adding all of these features. We keep adding features, people keep signing up. I think they play together, one and one. 120,000 of our members now have accounts. That number has doubled in 4 years. That's about 30% of our membership. You can see that quite a few people use e-profiles and e-newsletters, and among the features down in the last bullet there, members used accounts for 3,400 bookings of consultations and prep seminars. That's a third of all of the ones that we do, so that's a lot of extra phone calls that we don't necessarily have to take here, and we can focus in more on the kinds of queries that need further, deeper explanation. And all the way down to pension estimates. More than 22,000 pension estimates were run on my NYSTRS last year. So we're seeing great growth there. We actually have a second secure area on our website that we've been expanding over the past few years, and that's for our employers. And I'm going to turn it back to Ted, and he's going to tell you all about that.
Thank you, Ed. Robin, next slide, please. I'd like to talk a little bit about the Employer Secure Area, or the ESA. And as we all know, we all serve multiple customers in customer service, and we certainly don't want to overlook our participating employers. They're important customers, and they have a critical impact on our overall customer service. Our secure section of the website is devoted strictly to our participating employers. Again, it's called the ESA. Just to give you some background, prior to 2004-2005, our employers reported salary and service to us on a semi-annual basis. It was a pretty paper-intensive and unwieldy system. With the advent of a unified database in 2004, and it's a PeopleSoft Oracle database, we went to monthly reporting. And along the way, with some growing pains, we paved the way for the ESA in 2010, which is a secure web-based interface allowing for submission and clarification of critical member data. The interface allows us, with employers, to submit monthly service and salary reports, which helps with the timely processing of benefits. We have their budget codes mapped into our pay categories right from their payrolls. We clarify reporting issues using secure correspondence. New hires are reported through a membership registration application, and employers can access their monthly bills online. We provide periodic administrative bulletins and educational reporting tips during the year to help our ESA contacts with learning about the system. The ESA promotes timely and accurate data, which impacts customer service to external customers through better quality estimates, better benefits, more accurate death benefits, and annual statements. And just to make note of a couple major advances, it allows us to provide timely year-end reports to review salary and service discrepancies. And another great example is our final bill used to be run in December. It's now completed by August. Next slide, please. So I want to talk a little bit about our voice of the customer tools we use to get feedback from our customer base. And of course, while it's important to evaluate your own progress against your own benchmarks, it's also important to get the perspective of your external customers, and you need to do it often and in a variety of ways. It's important that you ask those you serve directly how you're doing. So we use surveys. We use post-call surveys, questionnaires on our website, email survey blasts, and SurveyMonkey, Survey Gizmo, to gauge customer satisfaction, test knowledge, and determine needs and desires. We've used these methods to ask, for example, our mid-career members, what else can we do to meet your needs? Through a Cobalt-administered survey, we ask on a regular basis now, this is our 4th year participating in their survey, how was the retirement process? How was it in terms of timeliness? How was the communication to you during that process? A public pension pop quiz tested member knowledge to help shape future education programs. We now use a post-call survey. We employ 3 simple questions about efficiency, happiness with the representative, and overall experience. And I am happy to say we're currently running 93 to 94% positive overall rating. But the key here is to keep doing it, to retest, to look at the trends, to see if you're getting better, to see if you're slipping, and to use that feedback to continually raise the bar. We've used focus groups a lot, probably our least technological innovation, but a very effective way to build relationships with our customer base. We've met with members on topics like retirement planning and technology preferences. And we've conducted the focus groups at our delegates meeting, at prep seminars, and it provides the opportunity for great give and take. And of course, we don't want to overlook our information representatives. It's kind of our built-in focus group. They receive feedback from over 100,000 members a year, and we need to make sure we take advantage of what they're hearing and seeing from our customers. And the last thing I want to mention is the call recordings, rather. These are a big part of our quality assurance initiatives that's been used for the past few years. And initially, they were met with a little bit of perhaps some skepticism, but now they've been embraced to the point where people really value them as a quality and as a training tool. For example, I was speaking to the gentleman who administers the recordings the other day, and he said staff will now approach him and say, hey, can I listen to that last call? I'm not sure if I handled that right. Is there a way I can handle that better? It allows us to look at a variety of calls, sometimes on the same topic, and see what happened in a 3-minute call versus a 7-minute call. So it's valuable information. And an extra benefit from the call recording is that they become a great recognition tool. For example, during Customer Service Week, we've used recordings to highlight the great customer service from directly in the words and in the voice of our members, and there's nothing more effective than that. The call recordings provide consistency, training opportunity, and quality control. So the key with our Voice of the Customer Tools program is to share compliments. We certainly want to recognize the staff. We also want to share concerns because, you know, you may miss the mark sometimes. You can do things better. You need to pay attention to that. And the last thing is to take action, because if you ask for feedback, we all know that after a while if you ask for feedback and you don't do anything, people will stop providing that feedback. So to do some follow-up, to let your members know you're following up is very critical. So just to sum up, today we've talked, all of us from CalSTRS and from PERSI have talked about the fact that customer service, I think, isn't an initiative. It really has to be part of your culture. And it's a challenge to meet the demands of the many customers we serve, employers, members, beneficiaries, and the taxpayers. Of course, we never want to overlook the customer service we provide to each other and the connection we all have to external customers. I want to again offer my thanks to NCTR, PERSI, and CalSTRS. And if you're interested in learning more about any of these topics, I'd suggest you let Meredith or Robin know. Also, hope you'll please consider being part of the NCTR Customer Service Networking Group. We look forward to continuing the dialogue about this important topic with you. So with that, I will turn this back to, I believe it's Robin or Meredith. Or both.
It's both of us. We're at that wonderful stage where we are opening up for questions. But before we get started, I have a few. I will start with Peggy. Peggy, we would like to know, how does one become a brand ambassador in your system? And how many ambassadors do you have at CalSTRS?
Well, I can answer the second question first, which is I have no idea how many. Because the answer to the first part of that question is that brand ambassador is a concept. It is not a role or an assignment that we give to people. It's something that people develop on their own as a result of believing in and supporting the culture of CalSTRS. It is a product of engagement, and engaged employees act and inspire other people, and they turn themselves into ambassadors so that they're speaking positively about our organization in conversations with their colleagues. We all know teachers, so in conversations with teacher friends, in conversations with any other business entity that is comparing notes about what is it that's good about your organization, and is that someplace I could consider going to work. And a brand ambassador for CalSTRS is an engaged employee who speaks positively about what we do, who understands their internal role in the organization, and who feels like we're tapping into their strengths and allowing them to contribute their very best to the organization. So I'd like to say that out of the 1,000 employees that we have 999 ambassadors, but I really don't know that number because it's an individual designation.
Very good. I encourage attendees, if you want to ask a question, there's a feature on your right-hand panel. You can raise your hand. I can unmute you if you have called in to ask a question directly to one of the panelists. I will go to my next question, which is for Lisa in Idaho. Lisa, with 2 full-time trainers for 67 employees, do the trainers do the legally required training, such as harassment training and the business process training? And were the trainers hired from outside, or were they grown from within your organization?
Thank you. That's a great question, Robin. So yes, our trainers do help us with some of the legally required training, supplemented by the efforts of our HR staff. They also will help with the business process training. They'll supplement the efforts of what our department managers do. And as far as where our trainers came from, the The two that we currently have came from outside of PERSI, but that doesn't mean that's necessarily always going to be our strategy going forward. So we strongly believe in providing opportunities for internal employees to promote from within and to explore different career paths. So should we have a good candidate internally and we had an opening sometime in the future, we would certainly consider that. It just happens to be that the two that are currently in place were from outside of PERSI, but they've both done a fantastic job.
Thank you, Lisa. Ted, I have a question for you. Has your self-service expansion of tools for your members impacted the number of staff needed to respond to incoming calls?
This is Ed. I can handle that. Actually, even though there have been tens of thousands of self-service transactions, which cuts down on the number of calls that are required, there is some amount of different types of calls that are coming our way in terms of people asking how to use the self-service tools, if they're having problems logging in, whatever the case may be. So there are some calls of that regard, and we're just expanding our tools. As I mentioned, secured messaging is something that we added recently, so we really actually haven't seen a change in the number of staff required, although if you just look at it purely from phone calls, it hasn't changed much in terms of the quantity. It's the tenor of them have changed a little bit.
Very good. Peggy, have you seen a reduction in the turnover of staff as a result of the employee engagement program?
Well, you know, engagement is a concept that we have only started looking at very recently. And there were circumstances in California that contributed to employee turnover because we're part of the state government. Those issues have resolved. And we have seen a reduction in some of our key business areas in employee turnover because of the working conditions and the working environment and the culture that we've been able to maintain. You know, certainly we want to keep those valued employees who are knowledgeable, skilled, and able to do their jobs with a minimum amount of training. And it's costly for us to bring new people on board. But we also know that we live in a static world and that the nature of employment overall is changing as younger members come into an organization who may not be as committed to a lifetime service for a single organization. So we want to take advantage of the time that they're here, and we want them engaged for the time that they're here and hope that this is a strong career move for them. You know, certainly it is our objective to provide that rich environment that allows them to do their very best work, speak positively about us, and stay. One of the questions that we asked in our most recent engagement survey, and we're just now digesting the results of it because it's very fresh for us, was a question that we asked on what would it take financially for you to leave CalSTRS? And a surprising percentage of our employees said it would take a pay differential of well over 20% or more to leave CalSTRS. We see that as a very positive indicator that staff are happy with the work environment and the culture that we've created, and they have a feeling of gratitude and respect for the client group that we serve. That also feeds into their willingness to be those strong brand ambassadors for us and to be engaged employees.
Thank you, Peggy. This question is for Ted or Ed. How did your employees receive the change in the reporting format, going from reporting twice a year to monthly? And are the employers required to use Employer Secure Area?
You asked about how the employers receive the change? Yeah, yes. It became mandatory for monthly reporting became mandatory in 2005, but it was a transition. Currently, we have almost 90% people who participate in the Employer Secure Area. I think over time, people have spoken and seen the benefits from doing that. But along the way, we have had people out in the field doing some training. We have contacts in-house that help people through the process, setting up contacts for technical assistance and that. But a big thing has been the field work done by our staff to go out and help people through the change in the process. But I think Initially, I mean, obviously it was necessary, so they didn't have as much of a choice. The first year I think was optional, and then by 2005 was mandatory for monthly reporting, but it was key to our new pension administration systems that had to be done on that basis. So it was, I think, over time they began to accept it. Now with ESA seeing the benefits that it offers, they're starting to embrace it.
Wonderful. I have a question from Dr. Carver, and I will let you guys determine who can best answer this. How can I get information on the new email tool used to communicate with employers while in the field and the Survey Gizmo tool? I also would like to see the online guide for the call center agents used by the FIRST system. I believe that's PERSI that they're referring to, the online guide.
Sure, this is Lisa from PERSI, and thank you. We would be happy to share the online guide with you. Robin, do they have access to our contact information?
Absolutely, or you can email me directly and I could make the connection. You can email me at rgonzalez@nctr.org, and then I can make the connection for you to get information. And I believe the Survey Gizmo tool is the NYSTRS group, so we are more than happy to share contact information of the panelists.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, and we can get the information to you about the Survey Gizmo tool that we use, yes.
Okay. Just checking to see if we have any more questions. Nope, we are out of questions. Meredith, would you like to close for us today?
First, I'd just like to thank everyone, certainly our panelists, Peggy, Lisa, Ed, and Ted, for the work that they've put in making this event come off. And I'd also like to thank our many participants who do so much to serve our members around the country on a daily basis. The next steps are uncertain, and frankly, they're in your hands. Number one, we'd like you to let us know what you think. You can email Robin or myself. My email address is mwilliams@nctr.org. Robin, likewise, Robin Gonzalez @nctr.org. The other issue that we want to bring to your attention is whether or not it would be appropriate for NCTR to establish a customer service network. And in order to do that, we need each of you to contact us with your contact information in order that we might put this network together and make it available to others on the network. And finally, would you like to do this again? I think today's panelists would tell you that it was a rewarding experience. And we would encourage other systems to come forward and let us know how you're approaching your customer service needs. Contact Robin or myself. We'd be happy to work with you, and we can do this again. We can do this on a regular basis, which we'd be very interested in doing. So let us know again what you thought of today's webinar and whether you'd be interested in participating in a future webinar. We thank you very, very much, and with that, we are concluded. Thank you.